Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed by your emotions? Do you find yourself losing control, feeling anger or frustration taking over when things don't go your way? Well, what if I told you that the answer to mastering your emotions is already at your fingertips through the power of Stoicism? In today's video, we're diving deep into how Stoic philosophy can help you achieve emotional control. And believe me, it's going to change your life. Stoicism isn't just some ancient philosophy. It's a powerful tool for the modern world. With Stoicism, you can learn how to handle life's most challenging emotions and come out stronger. Welcome to Stoic Techniques, the place where you unlock the timeless wisdom of Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to become the best version of yourself. If you're ready to start mastering your emotions and living a life of inner peace, make sure to hit that like button, comment with the phrase "I control my emotions," and subscribe to our channel to dive deeper into the teachings of Stoicism. Now let's jump into the first section. Number 1, understanding Stoic emotional control. Let's begin with one of the most essential Stoic principles. Emotions themselves are not inherently bad. In fact, they're natural human responses to events. The problem arises not from the emotions themselves, but from how we respond to them. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the world around us, but we can control how we interpret and respond to what happens. The key principle that Stoicism introduces is the dichotomy of control. In any situation, we must ask ourselves, what is in my control? This is the foundation for emotional control. You see, we can't control other people's actions, the weather, or unexpected events. What we can control, however, is our reaction to those events, our thoughts, beliefs, and judgments. And this is where true emotional mastery lies. For example, when something goes wrong, say, a colleague criticizes your work, your initial reaction might be anger, frustration, or even self-doubt. But with the Stoic mindset, we step back and evaluate. What can I control here? The answer is simple. You can control your response. You can choose to view this criticism as constructive feedback instead of letting it spark an emotional outburst. This shift in perspective allows you to remain calm, avoid emotional reactions, and act with wisdom. The Stoics believed that emotional freedom comes from recognizing that what happens is not as important as how we respond. This is empowering. When you stop letting external events dictate your mood, you take control of your emotional life. Think about it. How many times have you been emotionally shaken by something that was completely outside your control? How often have you let circumstances or other people's actions derail your peace of mind? The Stoic approach teaches you that you are not a victim of your circumstances. Your emotional response is your choice. Another important Stoic practice is negative visualization, or imagining worst-case scenarios before they happen. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about preparing your mind for challenges so that you're not overwhelmed when things go wrong. By mentally preparing for setbacks, you reduce the emotional impact when those things actually happen, and you can handle them with composure and clarity. Think about a stressful event, like giving a public speech. You could imagine everything going wrong, forgetting your lines, the audience ignoring you. But rather than spiraling into anxiety, you mentally prepare for it. You accept that things might not go perfectly, and you plan for how to handle them calmly. This Stoic tool helps you stay emotionally grounded, no matter the external situation. So how can you apply this to your life? Start by practicing mindfulness. Pay attention to your emotions in everyday situations. When something triggers an emotional response, ask yourself, what can I control? By embracing the Stoic mindset, you'll begin to master your emotions, not by suppressing them, but by choosing how to respond. If you're ready to embrace emotional control through Stoicism, Comment below with the phrase, "I control my emotions," and share one situation where you're going to practice this mindset. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Stoic wisdom. Remember, emotional control isn't about avoiding emotions. It's about choosing how to respond to them with wisdom, calmness, and clarity. Number 2, the dichotomy of control. Now that we understand the importance of emotional control, let's dive into one of the most empowering Stoic principles, the dichotomy of control. This is a central concept in Stoicism, and it's one that can radically change the way we approach life's challenges and setbacks. The dichotomy of control simply states that there are two types of things in life: things we can control and things we cannot control. The Stoics teach us that we should focus all of our energy and attention on the things we can control, our thoughts, our reactions, our behavior, and let go of everything else. This principle is liberating because it helps us stop worrying about things outside of our control, which are often the sources of stress and anxiety. For example, think about a situation where you're stressed about something at work. Maybe your boss gives you feedback that you don't agree with, or maybe you're worried about a project that's due. These are situations where you can't control the outcome, whether your boss agrees with you, whether the project goes perfectly, but you can control your response. You can choose to take that feedback constructively, learn from it, and keep moving forward with a positive mindset. When you stop worrying about what you can't control, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. Here's another example. Imagine you're in a car accident and it's not your fault. You're upset, frustrated, and angry at the situation. But the Stoic approach teaches us that you cannot control the accident, but you can control your reaction. You can choose to stay calm, deal with the situation responsibly, and focus on resolving it. By focusing on what you can control, you save yourself from wasting energy on anger and frustration, which only make the situation worse. The beauty of this principle is that it gives you power. Instead of feeling helpless and at the mercy of external circumstances, you recognize that your thoughts and actions are the only things you truly control. Once you realize this, it becomes easier to let go of stress and embrace peace of mind. The Stoics understood that external events are beyond our control, but how we respond to them is where we can exercise our power. This brings us to the idea of focusing on what's within your circle of influence. Your emotions, actions, and reactions fall within this circle. Everything outside that circle, whether it's other people's actions, the weather, or events beyond your control, should not be the source of your emotional energy. By mastering the dichotomy of control, you cultivate resilience and calmness in the face of life's unpredictable challenges. If you're ready to start applying the dichotomy of control in your life, comment below with "I focus on what I can control," and share one area in your life where you are letting go of what you cannot control. And remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to continue your journey with Stoic wisdom. Remember, by focusing on what you can control and letting go of the rest, you unlock the power to live a peaceful and intentional life. Number 3, emotional resilience through virtue. Now let's explore how Stoic virtues can help us build emotional resilience. If the dichotomy of control teaches us how to focus on what's within our power, then the Stoic virtues are the tools that allow us to navigate through life's challenges with strength, calmness, and wisdom. The 4 main Stoic virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are the foundation for building emotional resilience. These virtues help us manage not only our external actions, but also our internal emotional responses. They serve as guiding principles that enable us to act with integrity, even in difficult circumstances. Let's start with wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to understand the world as it truly is, not as we want it to be. It's about recognizing what's important and letting go of what's not. When it comes to emotional control, wisdom helps us differentiate between what is in our control and what isn't. With wisdom, we can accept that we can't control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. It teaches us to see every experience, good or bad, as an opportunity to learn and grow. Next, we have courage. Courage isn't just about physical bravery, it's about emotional bravery. It's the courage to face your fears, to take responsibility for your actions, and to stand by your principles even when it's difficult. In the context of emotional control, courage means having the strength to feel uncomfortable emotions, acknowledge them, and move forward without letting them dictate your actions. It's about not allowing fear, shame, or guilt to hold you back. Justice is the third Stoic virtue, and it's all about fairness, integrity, and doing what is right. When you apply justice to emotional resilience, you focus on treating others and yourself with fairness and respect. This virtue helps you navigate difficult situations like disagreements or conflicts with calmness and fairness. It encourages us to rise above petty emotional reactions like anger or revenge, and respond with a sense of moral clarity and respect for others. Finally, we have temperance, which is the virtue of self-control. Temperance is about moderation, knowing when to act and when to pause. In emotional terms, temperance means not letting our emotions overwhelm us or lead us into impulsive reactions. It's about finding balance, whether it's finding peace in moments of chaos or staying calm when things aren't going your way. Temperance helps us regulate our responses, ensuring we don't act out of impulse or emotion, but with measured, thoughtful responses. Together, these virtues provide a framework for emotional resilience. When you apply them to your daily life, you build a strong foundation that can withstand life's ups and downs. When faced with a challenge, instead of succumbing to negative emotions, you'll find strength in wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues help you develop the inner fortitude to stay calm, make clear decisions, and act in alignment with your values. So, how can you practice these virtues today? Start by reflecting on which virtues you need to strengthen in your life. Perhaps you need more courage to confront a difficult situation, or more temperance to control your emotional reactions. Remember, emotional resilience doesn't come overnight. It's a practice, one that requires consistent effort and self-awareness. If you're ready to develop emotional resilience through Stoic virtues, comment below with the phrase, "I am resilient with Stoic virtues," and share which virtue you're focusing on. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Stoic Techniques, and turn on notifications for more Stoic insights. Remember, with Stoic virtues, emotional control isn't a battle. It's a practice that brings you inner strength and peace in every moment. 4. The practice of negative visualization. Let's now explore a Stoic practice that can radically transform how we manage our emotions: negative visualization. At first glance, it might sound strange, but trust me, it's one of the most powerful tools the Stoics use to build emotional resilience. Negative visualization is the practice of imagining worst-case scenarios before they happen, not to dwell on negativity, but to prepare your mind for life's challenges and reduce emotional reactions. The Stoics believed that by visualizing difficulties before they occur, we could emotionally prepare ourselves for them. This practice helps reduce the emotional sting when setbacks happen because we've already mentally confronted them. In simple terms, by preparing for the worst, we make it easier to accept whatever comes our way. Think about a stressful situation. Maybe it's a presentation at work, a difficult conversation, or a personal challenge. When we're anxious about something, we often imagine all the things that could go wrong. But here's the Stoic twist. Instead of avoiding or suppressing those thoughts, we embrace them. We imagine the worst-case scenario in vivid detail, accept that it could happen, and prepare ourselves for it. This helps us realize that even if things don't go perfectly, we can handle it. Let's break this down. Suppose you're about to give a public speech. You might fear forgetting your lines, stumbling over words, or being judged by your audience. These fears often fuel anxiety. But with negative visualization, you mentally prepare yourself for those things to happen. You visualize the worst, perhaps you forget your words, or the audience doesn't respond the way you'd like. But here's the powerful part. By mentally confronting this scenario, you remove the shock factor. You've already accepted that it could happen. So when it does, you're less emotionally impacted. You'll have more emotional control because you've already faced the worst in your mind and know you can move forward despite it. Now let's apply this to a real-life example. Imagine you're in a relationship and you fear it might end. The Stoic practice of negative visualization would have you mentally prepare for that outcome. Instead of avoiding the fear, you face it head-on. You think about how you'd cope with the pain, how you'd heal, and how you'd move on. By doing so, you reduce the emotional intensity of the fear. When and if it happens, you'll be better equipped to handle it because you've already planned for it in your mind. The more we practice negative visualization, the less power fear has over us. We begin to realize that most of the things we fear are not as bad as we think. Even if the worst happens, we've already prepared ourselves to handle it. Negative visualization doesn't create pessimism. It creates emotional freedom. You can face life's challenges with calm and clarity, knowing that you've mentally prepared for the worst. So, how can you start using negative visualization today? When you face a difficult situation, take a moment to imagine the worst that could happen. Ask yourself, what would I do if this happens? The Stoic answer is always, I can handle it. If you're ready to start practicing negative visualization and take control of your emotional reactions, comment below with the phrase, I am prepared for the worst, and share how this practice has helped you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Stoic wisdom. Remember, by preparing for the worst, you take away the fear and gain the emotional strength to face whatever comes your way. Number 5. Daily Stoic practices for emotional mastery. Now that we've covered the key Stoic principles, it's time to explore some practical daily Stoic practices that will help you maintain emotional mastery. These practices, when consistently applied, will allow you to live a life of inner peace and emotional control. First, let's talk about journaling. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, famously kept a journal, which is now known as meditations. He used this journal to reflect on his thoughts, emotions, and actions. Journaling gives you the opportunity to reflect on your day and assess how well you applied Stoic principles. To get started, dedicate a few minutes every morning or evening to write down your thoughts. Reflect on what challenges you faced, what emotions arose, and how you responded to them. Ask yourself, did I respond with wisdom, or did I let my emotions control me? This practice helps you identify patterns in your emotional responses and provides insight into where you can improve. Next, we have mindfulness. Mindfulness means being present in the moment, fully aware of your thoughts and feelings. The Stoics believe that we should focus on the present because it's the only time in which we can take action. When you're mindful, you notice your emotions as they arise, and you can choose how to respond instead of reacting impulsively. For example, when you feel frustration building up, pause and take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you can choose how to respond. Instead of getting angry, you can choose calmness and clarity. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you'll be able to control your emotional responses. Another key Stoic practice is reframing negative thoughts. We all experience negative thoughts, but the Stoics teach us to challenge them. Instead of letting irrational thoughts dictate your emotions, ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Or is this thought based on reality? For example, if you think, I'm not good enough, ask yourself, what evidence do I have for this thought? By reframing negative thoughts, you can shift your mindset from negativity to clarity and positivity. Detachment is another powerful Stoic practice. The Stoics teach us not to become too attached to people, possessions, or outcomes. When we let go of the need for specific outcomes, we free ourselves from emotional turmoil. Detachment allows us to find peace regardless of what happens. For example, if things don't go as planned, you won't feel devastated because your happiness isn't dependent on external circumstances. Lastly, we have gratitude. The Stoics practice gratitude by reflecting on what they had rather than focusing on what they lacked. Take a moment every day to list a few things you're grateful for. This practice shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, helping you appreciate what you have and find peace in the present. By incorporating these Stoic practices into your daily routine, you'll start to build emotional resilience. You'll find yourself responding to life's challenges with calmness, wisdom, and clarity. If you're ready to start applying these practices to your life, comment below with the phrase, I choose emotional freedom, and let us know which practice you're starting with. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Stoic insights. Remember, emotional mastery is a daily practice. The more you apply these Stoic principles, the more in control you become of your emotional life.